You're watching Satluj TV News. I'm Angus Scott in London. Critics are turning on India in recent days over its response to accusations made by Canada of being behind the assassination of a political opponent on Canadian soil. On Monday this week, former Indian diplomat Deepak Vohra was seen on Indian news channel Zee News, claiming, without any evidence, Justin Trudeau's official aircraft had been filled with cocaine during his recent trip to India for the G20 summit, and that he didn't emerge from his room for 2 days. In response, Trudeau's office has had to make a statement confirming this is absolutely false, and a troubling example of how disinformation can make its way into media reporting. But this patently childish accusation by a former official, who as a former diplomat should frankly know better, has become a normalised tactic of the Indian administration in recent years, and more particularly in recent days after global attention has turned on Prime Minister Modi's government, as it tries to defend itself from serious allegations of state-sponsored murder of a political opponent. India news media and panel shows are known for their belligerent and often highly aggressive discussions, where debate is often seen as one-sided. Panel guests representing opposing views, particularly of the government, are usually drowned out by highly vocal and hostile pro-government representatives, and are rarely able to put their viewpoint across by partisan hosts. And this week has been no exception, with Indian media going into vicious attack mode, alight with every possible wild counter-accusation against Canada. And what's deeply noticeable is that amongst the hours of coverage, there's virtually no dissenting voice anywhere across Indian media actually asking the question, what if the allegation is true? Is there any journalist in India actually asking the Modi government to account for itself? In Canada and across the West, news outlets have jumped on the story and have ripped into the accusation with forensic detail, often questioning motives, accuracies, political machinations, whatever, of the Trudeau government. And in response, Trudeau has had to face the uncomfortable questioning and justify and defend his position at every turn. In other words, a normal, healthy, democratic process holding a government to account that we have taken for granted here in the West. Yet contrast this in India, where state media has unanimously ignored the veracity of the accusation and instead have become the tame attack dogs on behalf of Narendra Modi. No surprise from a country that now ranks in the bottom 10% in the world for free press. But the problem extends further and remains a culturally ingrained issue that's now seriously harming the country's status. Across social media, as news of the murder of Nijar and other Khalistani campaigners emerged, thousands of Indians celebrated the killings and widely cheered on the idea of extrajudicial killing by their own government. Death threats against anyone criticising the Indian government written by Indians everywhere, and none of them realising the damage this is now doing to India's reputation across the world, particularly as it tries to convince the West it stands as a democracy. As a relatively young and powerful nation growing in stature, India has become a teenager with a big stick, belligerent, immature and dangerous. But if it wants to earn the respect and be welcomed by the democratic grown-ups on the world stage, it's become clear India is going to need to take a close look at itself and grow up fast. You've been watching Satluj TV News, and don't forget to click on that subscribe button to make sure you get to see stories as they're broadcast. And of course, if you have any comments or opinions on any of our news stories, you can comment below, or indeed drop us a direct message at message@satlujtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, thanks for watching. For Satluj TV News, I'm Angus Scott in London.